Alright. So yeah, we're gonna be talking about literally everything, okay?
Like everything and anything.
Yeah. Like whatever you want to, man. I mean shit, we're going on an adventure, so literally anything.
Adventure time.
No, you
talk-
can't say that. We can't say that.
Copyright.
Copyright. No, but I love that show. It's one of my
me
favorite
too.
shows to watch.
Yeah. I fuck with it. I used to watch it way back in the day. Like
Yeah.
when it first came on and shit, it was like one of my favorite shows to watch.
Okay.
Alright, so I don't know. I mean, you're the host, so
Well, yeah, I'm glad you're coming on this adventure with me, and like we could talk about whatever and like have that opportunity. So literally, what do you like to do in your free time?
I produce music a lot. Usually, if I have nothing to do and I can't hang out with anybody, I'm making beats.
That's lit.
Yeah, or working on my rapping, or whatever. I've been producing for like I don't know, 12 years, 13 years, something like that. About half my life. I started when my dad got out of prison, which was like when I was 12 or something like that. So I've been making beats since then.
Right on.
Yeah, and then the rapping thing's coming along slowly. I just need to get a videographer to edit my shit. But, yeah.
Dude, I like making music too, but I'm not that good at it. I really just do it for therapy. But
Well, see, and that's the best. If you ask me, that's the best form of doing it because, I mean, why else would you make music other than to help yourself let go of things or to vent? It's just an emotional. It's like an emotional thing, It's like if you have something on your mind and you can't talk to anyone about it, write a song about it. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, because not everybody has somebody to talk to.
Exactly. Yeah.
So do you think that therapy is an important part of finding out who you are and like fixing yourself, or do you think you owe it to everybody to fix yourself, or do you think you should do it for yourself?
It's definitely a concept that should revolve around yourself. I mean, after all, you can't help anybody if they don't want to help themselves. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I mean, they teach you that in, Narcotics Anonymous, all that kind of shit, rehabs. That's one of the first things they tell you is like, you can't get helped unless you want to be helped. You know what I mean?
Right.
And,
I feel like, isn't it funny how like the people that raised us, a lot of the times they fucked us up to the point where we need therapy, but they won't even work on themselves. Like
Right.
my birth giver, she actually worked on herself, so I have a lot of respect for her. But I know plenty of people that their parents are just getting worse and worse and worse.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, me personally, I feel like the whole concept of therapy is a little bit biased. But if you find the right triggers and you find the right I guess ideas that you're looking for in a program like that, and it helps you realize things, then maybe that's what you need. But some other people don't need that. Some people can do that themselves, and I mean, some people just use psychedelics, to get over their shit. You know what I mean?
Oh shit! Let's start talking about that.
I mean,
that's a whole nother story.
They're really trying to use it for PTSD. And shit now,
like magic mushrooms and stuff.
Yeah, bro.
Man, I was on an adventure in Oakland, California, and they have mushrooms decriminalized there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude. So I I picked up like 9 grams of mushrooms, and me and my homies like tripped sack and like literally figured out why like mushrooms are like connected to the universe, and why when you take them you feel more connected to the universe. I was saying that here's my theory, right? So my theory is that you get access to their ancestral memories whenever you take it. Okay. Have you ever heard this before?
Yes. I mean, I know the concept, yeah.
So basically I'm saying that like whenever you consume something, you get like part of their memories, whether you realize it or not. And so that's why when you take mushrooms, since they came from outer space, I've heard this at least and done research that supposedly mushrooms came from outer space, and that's why you feel so connected with space whenever you're on mushrooms specifically, and like feel connected like all as one, because fungus have been around longer than you have. You know what I
Right,
mean?
yeah,
So there's that connectivity when you take it. Because think about it, like if you eat somebody's brains, you go crazy, right? Like have you ever heard of mad cow disease?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So the same thing happens.
Or Wendigo psychosis.
I haven't heard of that. You're gonna have to tell me that in a second.
It has to
but-
do with cannibalism.
Okay. So basically, yeah, that's what I was saying is whenever you eat somebody's brains, you actually crave more because
Yeah,
you-
okay, same thing. Same concept.
Yeah, I just had never heard it called Wendigo psychosis.
Yeah, that's what the Native Americans call it, at least.
Oh, that's sick. That's cool.
Yeah, because I'm sure you know what a Wendigo is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so it's based off of that, the entire Native American belief of that thing, and it's pretty much just like once you've had human blood, you crave it,
Yeah.
type of thing, and then the more you eat, the more you become a cannibal, and the more you become monstrous in appearance and mind.
Stringy and mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just kind of lose yourself a little bit. But that's the whole thing with that. I never really.
And it's
like,
funny because people lose themselves without eating other people.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
But like I said, back to finding yourself like through psychedelics is like with that concept of Wendigo psychosis, I feel like the same thing can happen with magic mushrooms. And so like, you know how like we produce DMT in our brain naturally?
Right.
Well, and when you die, you release a whole shit ton. Or if you smoke some, then you release, it gives you more to your brain. So then you
Right.
trip out and you can see God.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like when they die, they release more psilocybin. So magic mushrooms release more psilocybin. And so that's why you trip harder versus like just if you were to like pick it straight out of the ground. I don't know if you trip harder straight out of the ground or not, but I feel like you probably would trip harder after death, like post-mortem. Or when you're eating
Right.
it, you're killing it anyways, and after you picked it, it's dying anyways.
Yeah.
So maybe, I don't know. But point is, that's why I feel like you get access to their ancestral memories because they have been connected and they are one organism and will continue to be one organism and they've been alive longer than us. And that's where I feel like that connectivity comes from. It's because they make you trip like off of their brain chemistry when they die.
That's interesting. I like that.
Yeah.
That's an interesting concept.
Yeah, I came to that conclusion when I was in the Redwoods. So,
Yeah.
and I also saw an alien like that night too.
Yeah,
if you want to
yeah.
talk aliens.
I don't give a fuck. I mean, I've never seen a straight up alien. I've seen UFOs, but
Yeah, unidentified flying objects. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, no, so we all three saw it, but like my girlfriend at the time, I know, right? A demon dating girls. I shouldn't date girls, but whatever. Yeah, it didn't turn out well. But what did turn out well is this magic mushroom trip, right? Like we literally all three saw something that was quicker than an airplane, but slower than a shooting star. And it wasn't flashing at all. It was like a solid, bright beam of light. And it was like, it looked like a star moving through the sky, but like slower than if it just appeared and then disappeared.
Like
you know
a
what I
shooting
mean?
star, yeah.
Yeah, like a shooting star would just appear and disappear, but this was moving rather quickly, but quicker than an airplane possibly could.
Right.
And
Interesting.
and it was moving in a direction such that it didn't quite make sense.
Right. Okay. Huh. Yeah, that's interesting.
Do
And
you
then-
have
and
any
then
UFO stories?
Not any that I want to tell on here, but
Okay.
that's pretty cool though. The fact that all of you saw it.
Yeah. So
That's
you know
just
what I mean?
verification that whatever it was real.
And it wasn't natural.
Right. Yeah.
Or it was natural because, UFOs are
Unless you were
alive.
all on the same wavelength of trip, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's just
and that's very
Happen
possible.
to see all the same fucking thing.
And maybe we just hallucinated the same thing because I've heard of that
Right.
happening with a group of like 25 people on psilocybin that
Huh.
they can all see the same like gremlin, goblin, like
Interesting.
gnome type of things. Have you ever heard that before?
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah, so they can literally all see the same hallucinations if you're all in the same place. And a buddy of mine actually, he's a demon too. I'll have him on the show sometime. But he actually said that one time he woke up and the whole house was tripping on mushrooms, and he woke up feeling like he was tripping, like it felt like he was tripping. But I mean, he said somebody could have dosed him, but how do you dose somebody in their sleep? It's pretty hard to make them eat a bunch of mushrooms.
Right. Yeah.
Unless it was acid, but it felt like a mushroom high, he said. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so tripping is pretty powerful, and it can be used as therapy for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm sure I've no doubt that there's other uses for it too that they're just now researching. You know.
Well, yeah, because they're just now decriminalizing it. Like I said,
Right.
it's decriminalized in Oakland, so that's California, by the way, for those of you who aren't from around here. But
Indiana life.
Indiana life. Yeah, so just in case I haven't told you about myself, I'm a demon that comes from Indiana. I don't really come from, I come from hell, but like I poke around Indiana a lot because there's a lot of bored ass people trying to contact demons because they're that bored and trying to sell their soul for music and stupid shit like that. But you know, I don't know. I just let them toy around with my powers without them even knowing it. So it's fun to possess people. What do you think about possession and selling your soul for music?
Let me smoke while I do this one.
Okay.
Okay, no. So this is a good conversation for me. So I mean, me personally, I don't think it's too much of a abstract concept, but it is something that should be taken seriously with a grain of salt, because I mean, in all reality, if such a thing were real, then I have no doubt that people would be doing it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then if it's not, and it's just a concept, I mean, it only adds to people's superstitions, and the whole thing with selling your soul to be famous and whatnot has been explored for I don't know how long,
Thousands of years.
and thousands of years.
I mean, there's famous violinists that have supposedly sold their soul, and this was like in the 16, 15, 1700s, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
Whenever the fuck the violin was invented. We should go check that out someday.
Ooh, that would be
Because
cool.
I can time travel and shit, and I can literally go anywhere you want, so we can literally go fucking check that shit out someday, but... Okay, let's step outside if you're gonna smoke. I mean, I know I'm a demon and all, but I still don't like the smell of smoke in my house.
I mean, to be fair, I think you smell enough of it in hell anyways.
Say that again?
I think you smell enough of it in hell anyways.
Oh, smoke? Yeah, hell yeah, dude. Of course I do. That's why I like
Constantly
to
24/7.
have my house smelling like roses and fucking other flowers and shit. Right. You know, cherry blossom. You wouldn't expect a demon to have a cherry blossom smelling house, but...
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I feel like the whole thing with selling your soul and whatnot is a bit of a, what would you call it? An industrial idea. Because as soon as the music industry itself started to become more, what would you call it? More financial rather than, long-term end goals and stuff. It became all about the money, you know what I mean? And I think that's when that idea started to become mainstream.
Yeah.
As to what reason, I don't know. Just, something that made
some
it...
people say that there's a constant war between evil and good and light and dark. And so, I mean, like, I've participated in this war, so I believe that it's there, obviously, because, like I said, I've seen it with my own eyes. But I believe that that's just a sign that the dark sometimes gets a little bit stronger than the light, but it doesn't mean that they're winning or anything.
Right.
Unfortunately, we're not winning, so... But, with that being said, I mean, have you listened to the music nowadays? It's mainly like kill yourself, or I want to kill myself, or like kill people.
A lot of dark stuff.
Dark shit, and it used to be like in the 50s it was like love songs and like, I miss my baby, not die, murder.
Right.
And I think that's honestly direct proof that more and more people are selling their souls, to be for evil for gains.
Yeah. Could be direct correlation.
I mean, I had a friend that I was bouncing this idea off with, and she was the one that was like, you know, there's a very good possibility that people are just selling their soul more than they used to.
Which is quite possible too, I think. I think with the more time passes, the more people become accustomed to just not caring and, you know, only caring about things that don't matter, you know what I mean? Like physical possessions, money, you know, shit like that, you know.
And it's proof that people are caring more about themselves, but not in the good therapy way, more
Exactly.
in like the greed and the darkness,
yes.
And yes, let it consume you. You know, that kind of way, the General Palpatine kind of way.
Right. Yeah. What other kind of concepts you got?
Well, I mean, we could talk about the rise of drug use and the drug war that happened in America.
Still going.
Still going.
Still
But
going.
I don't see people getting swatted as much, I don't think.
No.
And I don't see people, like, having battering rams, like, you know, like they did in the 80s and 90s.
It's definitely becoming more of a peaceful movement.
Well, with Black Lives Matter that happened in the U.S. And like all around the world, people.
It's starting to.
I mean, even without defunding the police, it's become more peaceful.
Right. It's starting to invoke change within masses.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because obviously, no doubt, I'm sure there are people out there that are like, why, if you're trying to promote equal rights, why would you burn down buildings and, you know, all that other shit?
Well, some people don't think that their voice can be heard unless it's something extreme.
Right. Which I understand. You know, I've been a radical before. You know what I mean? I understand.
But with that being said, like, radicalism ends up becoming extremism, and next thing you know, it's a terrorist organization or terrorist group, like in the Middle East, you know?
Yeah, like the Al-Qaeda. Or...
Yeah, I'm sure it started off as just a conversation just like this, you know, and then next thing you know, you're blowing up somebody's fucking, like, you know...
village.
Yeah, exactly.
Or whatever, yeah.
I mean, for me personally, I know I'm a demon, but I still like doing acid and shit. So next thing I know, like, my time is all fucked, and it's been 3 months, and if you have something evil in your mind, it really can just take over just like that if you let your guard down. I mean, I've taken over many people's bodies before, so it's really not that hard if they're on drugs, you know?
Right, yeah.
If your mind is weak, then your body is weak, and if your body and mind are weak, then your soul is weak.
Right. Makes sense.
So that's why I feel like, even though I'm evil, I'm still rooting for the other team sometimes, you know? I like to see the good make movements because it's interesting to me. So I guess basically treat your body like a temple, take care of your mind, take care of your soul.
Right.
You know? I think that's important.
I'm a very big believer in the yin-yang concept.
Yeah, oh yeah, dude, I literally have it, like, in my human form, I have it tatted on me, a snake eating its own tail. So, you know, that represents the cycle of life and death. Good and evil, light and dark, you know? Call it a holy war, call it the light and dark war, whatever you want to call it, it's still a war, you know, regardless. But, you know, some people think that it's only light and dark, but I believe in, like, a moral gray area. What about you?
I do too.
Like, because that point in between the infinity sign, the point where the snake is eating its own tail, means just as much as the whole rest of the body of the snake, right?
I do actually agree with that. There's definitely a moral bridge between the two because I mean,
And that bridge matters just as much as the rest of it.
In order for the two to exist, there has to be a midway. You know what I mean? It has to be some type of scale or level, staircase, if you will. I don't know. There's just there's an interesting way behind how much people really agree with that in history because there's so much revolved around the good and the evil. You don't really hear too much about the
moral gray areas.
The midway between the two. And
well, it's because like if you're drawing an infinity sign, yeah, sure, it's just a point, but that point is just as much as infinity as the rest of it. I know I've said the same thing like 3 different ways, but like, I mean, it's not it's not like talked about as much in the grand scheme of things because it seems minuscule, but right. It's actually much larger than people think. And see, that's where you get sheeple or sheep people. Sure, normally they tend to be good, but some of them are just stuck in that more moral ambiguous gray area where they're just sheep and they don't really think for themselves and they're literally just caught up too much in between the light and the dark. And they don't decide whether or not they're going to be good or bad or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which I think is dangerous too, because like I said, if your body is a temple, you should take care of your mind and soul, then you know, you got to be making these decisions for yourself. You can't just be too caught up in between the choices, you know?
Right.
But it's very easy to get stuck in between, like, you know, like, oh shit, what do I do, you know?
Ideas, yeah. Stuck between choices.
Thought loops and everything, you know? But, you know, sometimes that coral can be good for you because it can help you decide a certain direction, you know?
Right.
Left or right, up or down, dark or light, you know?
Yeah. There's always
that moral quandary can help.
Well, yeah, it definitely, it's a bit of a, what's the analogy I would use for this? It's a bit of a sign at a crossroads. You know, if you take one direction, you'll know how a certain direction will turn out in another situation based off of, you know, inference and just like experience of what's happened when you've taken certain choices. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean, some will argue that that's just life. You know what I mean? And experience and how it affects your choice. You know, your choice making, but. I don't know.
So did you see everything you wanted to see in this adventure today? Did we talk about everything you wanted to talk about?
Yeah.
You saw some pretty cool shit?
I think so. Yeah.
All right. Well, with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Sorry, I love breaking the fourth wall just to fuck with you guys, but yeah. Okay, bye.